Just a little disclaimer before we begin. This is by no means my best work, this shoot. We were working around quite a few things and we were limited with time, but I hope you enjoy these shots. There's some cracking shots later on in the video. Stay till the end to see flash versus no flash. But yeah, by no means a full professional shoot, guys. This was just, I've got my D5 here. We've been modelling upstairs. Let's take a quick few shots on the D5 so we've got something to share. So yeah, enjoy. Hi, so we're going to touch on posing, attention to detail in this video, but also we're going to talk a little bit about flash, as I've been using the ZT08 by Zeniko, which has been great fun on this shoot. As you can see here, we've got a few distractions. We've got the red alarm there, the light switch, something else above it, the green dress poking in from the side. A few distractions that I didn't take out just because I did a quick edit. Also, Tila's posing here is lovely on her arms, but I found it quite tricky to get her legs looking super relaxed. So we're going to have a little look at that. I put a lot of these images in black and white because it took out the distractions of all the colour that was going on in the background. And also, you know me, I'm a complete sucker for black and white. And I really like the softness that we get here from the light coming through the window. It gives a lovely roundness to Tila's face, particularly when she is looking over more to the left. This one, obviously, you've got more dark shadows on the face, but when she's looking over towards the window light more, you get a beautiful soft roundness to her face with not too many shadows. Do you see that? And then you get this lovely backlighting on her shoulder, her hair, just the whole of the left-hand side of her is really beautifully lit. And really, as I think I've said to you before, do you see how cropping in closer, I'm going to just have a parallel conversation now, cropping in closer really helps an awkward pose or awkward composition. Do you see that? When you tighten it all up, you can really create that journey for the eye. And this one in particular was very colourful in the background, and it really does lend itself to black and white, these shots here. I quite like the arm thing going on with Tila here. She just sort of draped her right arm down. I think her fingers could be a little bit more elegant if we put them in that kind of pointy pose, but I love the shoulder, the left shoulder, how it's higher than her right shoulder, and I love the way that she's draped her left arm over the arm of the sofa. She's a very, very natural model. She's really good at posing in a way that looks completely natural. And these clothes weren't her normal choice of clothing, and I was really pleasantly surprised and impressed with how she just kind of adapted to them and went all floaty, and it was lovely to see a different side of her posing, actually. So what I was going to say a minute ago when I interrupted myself was I don't usually, as you know, go for a flash look. Okay, so I prefer, unless there's really dark shadows on the face, I prefer not to use flash if I can. And that is partly because I haven't ever really mastered just enough flash that you don't notice it. I did with my SB900, and I went to the photography show in the NEC in Birmingham, and I got this big diffuser to put on the flash, right? It kind of bounced some of the flash and it let some of the flash go through. So it became a bigger light source. The flash became a bigger light source, which obviously softened the light, and some of it was being dispersed around, right? So it was a more of a gentle light, but I don't like a harsh flash. I don't like the shadows that it gives, and that is why I would rather use an off-camera flash, like like a studio light to the right of me or to the left of me, to fill in any shadows. That said, I've really been enjoying the Zeniko ZT08. In particular, when Aaron and I don't know if you remember, we did a shoot outdoors and we had the ZF08 by Zeniko. We used it outdoors from slightly further away. There's more of a distance between Aaron and I. And that was when that flash really came into his own. It was amazing. I remember thinking, I need to carry this flash everywhere with me. It really kind of like sorted out my, my dark circles under my eyes, any lines on my face. This Zeniko ZT08 was perfect because Aaron was shooting, as I say, from a little bit further back, and so it was a very soft light. And when you've got a lot of distance behind the model, you don't have anything for it to cast a shadow on around the model. Do you see what I mean? So that was when I most noticed the benefits of these little tiny flashes. And I remember thinking then I wouldn't be without it for those scenarios. So, and of course, when you're working out on location, you don't want to be carrying loads of kit. This is when it's really handy, you know. And if we're being a perfectionist, like I really love a very, very, very soft light and we're shooting closer up, then there's a place for everything, isn't there? But when you've got the light source very close to the lens, that's when you get the shadows and a harsher light. But look at this. So in this scenario, for example, I feel that the flash on the white top is a bit stark, it's a bit much. Bear in mind, I'm pretty inexperienced with these little flashes, as I was saying, so it could be partly user error. I'm sure there's a lower setting. I wasn't studying the flash completely in this shoot. I was kind of just shooting and having fun and then just having a look at the images. So I'm sure I could find a setting on the ZT08 because it's got the through the lens settings on the flash that would give a softer, gentler light, just less of the flash basically. I could go in and lighten the highlights on Tila's top here on the right hand side image. I like that it's lightened up the shadows on Tila's face, and as you can see, a flash really does give a little bit of spark in the eyes, which is something that I like. So for me, using flash, it's finding the balance where you don't lose that beautiful roundness. Do you see the roundness and the softness that we've got on the shot on the left, but having enough flash to just reduce some of the shadows and give that little spark in the eye. So somewhere between the two would be really good. And I'm actually looking forward to experimenting more with flash now that I've experienced the ZT08 and the ZF08. I think I could improve my photography at times, particularly when lighting, for example, somebody outdoors with a side light, the older model in particular. Like I was saying, our shoot before, it was really complimentary because I had side light on me. So definitely a place for a little flash like this. What do you think? Do you prefer flash or no flash? This shot, I know the one with no flash is slightly too dark on Tila's face. But again, I think the one on the right is too bright on Tila's top. Nice on her face though. So, and this is why I didn't edit these too crazily, because I could have corrected it all, I could have lightened the top on her right-hand side image, I could have lightened her face on the left image, but then it wouldn't have shown you the difference, before the editing of what this little flash does. We could have also used the reflector to bounce some of the light around as well with the flash, which would be interesting to try next time. This isn't a particularly great image in terms of posing. Again, we've got Tila's knee falling out of focus. We've got a slightly awkward looking hand. It's not about the posing in this particular shot. We didn't get it right always on at this shoot, and I was really aware of that. There was quite a lot going on in the shop, and we didn't really take the time to absolutely perfect the posing in this shoot. And with using the shallow depth of field because of the display in the background, it meant that Tila's knee did fall out of focus, but also what would have been ideal would have been to move all the displays that were on my left so that I could get parallel to this sofa, you know, and that would be how I would work at this shot to improve it. But the sofa had a display in front of it, so I couldn't get the exact angle that I wanted to get. So that was another factor. But let me know what you like about flash, what you don't like. I'm certainly looking forward to improving my photography with a little bit of flash and experimenting with various portable lighting situations that I can take with me on a shoot like this. Even have a little setup that's there with a soft box on it, because I love that soft light, don't you? What do you think? Thanks for joining me. It's great to have you. Bye.